Welcome back to Selling on Giants. I'm your host, Mr. Will, and this week there is one theme running through almost every important e-commerce update. The systems underneath marketplace growth are changing. Amazon is tightening the language around seller financing. Sponsored products are moving deeper into creator content. Product titles officially changed again this week. AI-generated models now come with another compliance requirement. Walmart officially closed its Vibe acquisition and is pushing deeper into streaming television. TikTok Shop is starting to look less like a social commerce experiment and more like a legitimate marketplace. And heading into Q4, retailers may have plenty of inventory while still not knowing exactly what that inventory is going to cost them. That last point is important because we have spent years talking about growth as though the main question is how to generate more traffic. Going into this holiday season, the bigger question may be whether the operating system underneath that traffic can actually support profitable growth. Let's start with one of the least flashy Amazon updates this week, because it may be one of the most consequential for certain sellers. Amazon is updating its Business Solutions Agreement effective August 24th, and the new language explicitly says sellers cannot assign or pledge all or part of their rights or obligations under the agreement. The important new word here is pledge. I want to be careful with this one because I have already seen people take the update too far. Amazon is not saying sellers cannot borrow money. This is not a blanket prohibition on bank loans, lines of credit, or every form of revenue-based financing. The issue is how the financing agreement is structured. Some marketplace financing arrangements give a lender specific rights to future Amazon disbursements or other economic rights connected directly to the seller account. If your financing agreement does that, the updated language deserves attention before August 24th. This becomes especially relevant right now because Q4 inventory is expensive. Brands are financing larger purchase orders, building inventory ahead of holiday, and in some cases borrowing against the cash flow they expect Amazon to generate later. If that is your business, do not interpret a podcast as legal advice and do not assume your lender already handled it. Pull the agreement, look at what has actually been pledged. If the contract specifically gives a lender rights connected to Amazon proceeds or the seller agreement itself, ask the lender and qualified legal counsel whether the structure needs to change. The bigger story is that Amazon increasingly wants control over the financial infrastructure surrounding the marketplace relationship. The Amazon account is no longer just where the listing lives. It is connected to the inventory, the advertising, the customer, the cash flow, the financing, and in some cases, the valuation of the business itself. That means seller agreements deserve the same attention as advertising changes. Speaking of advertising changes, sponsored products just moved another step away from being purely a search advertising product. Amazon is expanding sponsored products into content created by members of the Amazon Influencer Program. Existing campaign targeting, bids, and budgets can now extend into these off-Amazon creator environments. That sounds like an ad placement update. I think it is much bigger than that. Sponsored products were built around one of the best advertising behaviors in e-commerce. A shopper goes to Amazon, types exactly what they want, and an advertiser pays to appear in front of that demand. That is high intent. Creator content is different. Someone may be watching content, learning about a problem, following a personality, or simply being entertained when the product appears. That customer can be much earlier in the buying journey. Amazon is now allowing both behaviors to consume budget from the same sponsored products campaign. That means an account can behave differently this week, even if nobody changed the campaign. If off-Amazon creator traffic starts increasing, watch the placement data, watch cost per click, watch conversion rate, watch ACosts, watch ROAS, watch the inferred search terms Amazon uses when there is no traditional customer search query. Most importantly, understand the product. A demonstrable beauty product, kitchen gadget, toy, fitness accessory or something visually interesting might perform incredibly well when a creator introduces it to someone who was not actively shopping. A technical replacement part purchased by somebody who already knows the exact model number may perform very differently. Do not celebrate impressions because Amazon found another place to spend the budget. Determine whether Amazon found another place to profitably acquire customers. There is also a strategic point here. Sponsored products are slowly becoming something different. Amazon wants an advertising system that can start with discovery outside Amazon and follow the customer toward the transaction without forcing the advertiser to build a completely separate media plan. That sounds convenient, and it can be. It also means advertisers need to understand the traffic mix instead of assuming sponsored products still means what it meant 2 years ago. Amazon also officially moved into the next phase of its product title change this week. As of August 10th, item highlights display directly beneath the item name on desktop and mobile. Sellers still have 200 characters of searchable product information, but it is now divided into 75 characters for item name and 125 characters for item highlights. Amazon clarified something important here. It says item name and item highlights are both inputs into search, and one is not prioritized over the other. That matters because I do not want brands reacting to this like Amazon just created a new keyword loophole. This is primarily a merchandising change. The old Amazon title often tried to do everything: brand name, product type, size, color, benefit, material, compatibility, keywords, and enough descriptors to make the title read like somebody lost an argument with an SEO tool. Amazon is forcing prioritization. The 75-character item name should clearly communicate what the product is. Brand name belongs there. Important variation attributes belong there. The information a customer needs to understand the item immediately belongs there. The item highlights field gives the brand another 125 characters for meaningful secondary information without making the product name unreadable. That is a better customer experience if sellers actually use it that way. Amazon also says brand owners have 14 days to review AI-generated recommendations on non-compliant titles before Amazon implements those changes. So this is not something I would leave unattended. Review the highest revenue ASINs first. Decide what absolutely belongs in the first 75 characters. Move useful secondary information into item highlights. Then check the review listings changes queue before Amazon decides how to rewrite the listing for you. We are also seeing another side of AI move from experimentation into compliance. Amazon is requiring disclosure metadata when product images, videos, or A+ content contain photorealistic AI-generated people. The technical requirement involves adding the appropriate synthetic performer metadata to the file before it is uploaded so Amazon can identify the asset and, where applicable, disclose that the person was AI generated. This is a small workflow change with a bigger implication. Brands are using synthetic models because they can generate lifestyle creative faster and cheaper than traditional photography. That capability is not disappearing. What is disappearing is the idea that AI creative can operate without governance. A freelancer can hand you a beautiful image that looks finished while the underlying file is not compliant. That means AI disclosure now needs to become part of the creative QA process, just like dimensions, spelling, product accuracy, claim substantiation, and brand guidelines. The brands that use AI well will not be the brands that generate the most content. They will be the brands that generate more content without losing control over accuracy and compliance. And this is where I think a lot of marketplace teams are starting to feel overloaded. The Amazon financing agreement changes, the advertising placements change, the title architecture changes, creative compliance changes, Walmart changes APIs, TikTok changes how customers shop. Every week, another system becomes somebody's responsibility. You cannot solve that by reacting faster to every notification. You solve it by having an operating plan. Bellavix has helped brands sell over $500 million on Amazon, and we are a verified ad partner. Our job is not to chase every feature Amazon or Walmart releases. It is to understand which changes materially affect the business, then turn marketplace complexity into a clear operating plan across advertising, creative, catalog, inventory, compliance, and profitability. If your team has more marketplace activity than marketplace clarity, visit bellavix.com. Now let's move to Walmart because the Vibe acquisition that we have been watching officially closed on August 4th. Vibe is a self-service connected television advertising platform that Walmart is bringing into Walmart Connect. Walmart says Vibe has already worked with more than 10,000 advertisers and was designed to make streaming television campaigns easier to launch with flexible budgets, AI optimization, and measurement. This matters because connected television has traditionally felt like something for very large brands with very large media budgets. Walmart wants to change that. If Walmart can combine Vibe's self-service buying experience with Walmart's shopper data and closed-loop purchase measurement, streaming television becomes much more accessible to the mid-market brands already buying sponsored search and on-site media. Think about what Walmart is really building. A brand can advertise when the customer searches Walmart. It can reach customers off-site. It can advertise inside stores. Now, Walmart wants to make streaming television easier to buy and connect that exposure back to actual retail behavior. That is the same full funnel budget Amazon wants. The competition between Amazon and Walmart is increasingly a competition for the brand's media dollars, not just the customer's shopping dollars. I would not move budget today just because Walmart closed the acquisition. Walmart has not said that every Vibe capability is immediately available inside Walmart Connect, and product integration will take time. But brands spending meaningfully on Walmart should watch this closely. If the minimum budgets are reasonable and the measurement is strong, Walmart could give marketplace sellers a much easier way to test connected television without building a traditional television buying operation. Walmart is also giving sellers better information closer to the search result. Its updated search insights tools help sellers understand performance from impressions to clicks, add to cart behavior, and sales, along with the customer queries and related keywords behind that performance. This is the kind of tool I wish sellers used before deciding that every problem is an advertising problem. A product with low sales can fail in multiple places. Maybe nobody sees it. Maybe customers see it and do not click. Maybe they click and never add it to the cart. Maybe they add it and then choose a competitor. Those are 4 different problems, and they should not produce the same response. Search Insights gives sellers more visibility into where that funnel breaks. If the item has poor impression share, investigate discoverability and ranking. If impressions are healthy but click-through is weak, look at the main image, title, price, reviews, badges, and the competitive set. If shoppers click but do not add to cart, the product detail page or value proposition may be weak. If add to cart behavior is strong and final sales are weak, now you need to look at pricing, availability, shipping promise, competition, and what happens later in the purchase journey. Good operators diagnose before they prescribe. There is also a less exciting Walmart update that technical teams need to know. Walmart deprecated several older, simplified shipping settings API endpoints on August 4th, with the new version scheduled to launch August 31st. If you manage shipping settings directly inside Seller Center, this may mean very little to you. If an agency, internal development team, shipping platform, or solution provider manages those settings through API calls, somebody needs to confirm the migration plan. This is the kind of infrastructure issue brands never think about until a call fails and shipping rules stop updating in the middle of Q4. Marketplace management increasingly depends on systems the brand owner never sees. If critical inventory, pricing, order, and shipping processes rely on an integration, knowing who owns that integration is part of marketplace operations. Now let's talk about TikTok because the numbers coming out this week deserve attention. Momentum Works estimates that TikTok Shop generated more than $50 billion in global GMV during the first half of 2026, nearly double its estimate from the same period last year. The United States was estimated at almost $12 billion, making it the largest national market in the report. These are estimates. TikTok did not release audited financial results, saying it sold exactly $50.3 billion. That distinction matters. But the most interesting number is not the total GMV. It is where the purchases happen. According to the estimate, the Shop tab accounted for slightly more than half of attributed GMV. Video represented about 40%, with live streaming representing the remainder. That changes the TikTok Shop conversation. TikTok was supposed to be the social commerce platform where a creator makes a video, the video goes viral, and commerce happens as a side effect of entertainment. That still matters. But if more than half of attributed GMV is coming from the Shop tab, TikTok is developing traditional marketplace behavior too. Customers are opening TikTok with shopping intent. Once that happens, brands need to stop treating TikTok Shop like an influencer side project. Now, catalog quality matters. Search optimization matters. Reviews matter. Pricing matters. Promotions matter. Inventory matters. Fulfillment matters. Affiliate strategy still matters, but it becomes one part of the marketplace operating model instead of the whole strategy. That is exactly how a new marketplace becomes dangerous to incumbents. TikTok does not need to build a better Amazon. It needs to combine something Amazon does not naturally own, entertainment-driven discovery, with enough traditional marketplace behavior that customers stop leaving TikTok to complete the purchase somewhere else. That is a much more interesting competitive threat. Finally, Q4 inventory may be in much better shape than Q4 profitability. The National Retail Federation says retailers pulled significant inventory forward ahead of tariff changes and other supply chain uncertainty. Its latest port forecast says the early peak shipping season is winding down, and retailers should be well stocked for holiday. That solves one problem. It does not solve the margin problem. The Commerce Department is considering additional steel, aluminum, and copper derivative products for Section 232 tariffs. At the same time, companies are still reconciling tariff refunds from earlier trade actions. So a seller can have inventory sitting safely inside the United States while the economics underneath that inventory are still moving. That creates three different cost questions. What did the inventory already inside the warehouse actually cost? Are there tariff refunds owed back to the business? And what would the same unit cost if you had to replenish it today? Those may be three very different numbers. That distinction matters before you approve holiday discounts. If the first container entered under one duty structure and the replenishment order arrives under another, the historical gross margin is not necessarily the forward gross margin. This is why I keep coming back to contribution margin. Revenue can look great while the business becomes less profitable underneath it. Before Q4 promotions are locked, reconcile landed cost. Review tariff exposure, confirm which refunds have actually been received. Look at replenishment cost separately from the cost of inventory already sitting here. Do not let last quarter's cost assumptions determine this quarter's promotional strategy. When you connect the week together, that is really the story. Amazon is defining more of the financial relationship around the seller account. Sponsored products are moving into creator discovery, product titles are being redesigned around readability and structured information. AI creative now comes with disclosure requirements. Walmart is expanding into self-service streaming television while giving sellers better search diagnostics. TikTok is becoming a hybrid between social discovery and a traditional marketplace. And retailers are heading into holiday with inventory on hand while the actual economics remain unsettled. The practical takeaway is not to chase more growth. Audit the systems underneath the growth. Review the financing agreement. Watch where sponsored products are spending. Clean up the new item highlights. Add AI creative compliance to the workflow. Confirm Walmart integrations. Diagnose search performance before increasing ad spend. Treat TikTok like a marketplace if the customer is treating it like one. and rebuild the Q4 margin model using what inventory actually costs today. Peak season will create plenty of demand. The brands that win will be the ones that know whether that demand is actually worth buying. If you are getting value from selling on giants, subscribe to the show, leave a review, and share this episode with somebody on your team who is already knee-deep in Q4 planning. Mr. Will here, signing off from Selling on Giants. Holiday inventory may already be moving, but there is still plenty of time to get the economics right.